Reddit, what's a weird habit of yours you didn't think was weird until someone mentioned it? One day I was taking a shower with my wife and I discovered that she washes her underpants in the shower and uses the newly washed underpants as sponge to help to clean her body. I said, WTF? And she said that her mom taught her to do that. And just like that I found that females on her family have this weird shower tradition. Edit. Bad grammar. Edit 2, for those asking. My wife is Hispanic. Cleaning undies in the shower, sure. They actually suggest you do this with bras because they're so delicate. Using it as a sponge? No LMAO. Every generation adds their own twist. By 2038 they'll be flossing in there too. Shared a hotel with a buddy during a trip and he told me I sleep like I'm embalmed. Arms crossed. On my back. Stiff as a board. I do the same thing but sleep on my stomach. I call it reverse coffin. I sometimes use my tongue like a CD slot when eating chips. Didn't even realize I was doing this until my friend suddenly burst out laughing while we were hanging out. I do that too, it's just the best way to consume chips. I talk to myself, running conversations through my head. A few words will slip out every once in a while. I do this. My wife points out that it makes me look crazy. She's right, and anyone who thinks talking to yourself doesn't make you look crazy are fooling yourself. We've all seen the weird guy on the bus, subway, street corner, whatever, talking to himself and you know he looks like someone on the edge of losing it. I talk to every animal I meet. See in French, my first language. I don't know why I do this, but someone pointed it out when I met their new dog for the first time. Maybe because it's how you're most comfortable speaking and animals make you comfortable and bring out your authentic self. That's some deep LMAO. Whenever I touch or bump something, especially on accident, I feel like I have to repeat that action on the same spot on the other half of my body. Now it's getting to the point where my brain just does it without consulting me first. And it's gotten me some weird looks comments. Edit. Well, thanks for the gold. Holy shit, I thought this was just me. I don't do it much anymore, but as a kid if I got an itch on my right knee and scratched it, I'd have to scratch the same spot on my left knee or it wasn't fair. One day, my husband raised his arm to put around me while I was sitting on the couch and I instantly flinched away from "Hi monsieur." My brother-in-law was shocked and instantly thought that my husband might be hitting me when nobody was around. We laughed it off because he would never do such a thing. He responded with, "She does it every time. I'm just used to it by now." I didn't even realize that I did it. Mind you, I did come from an abusive childhood, so my reflexes are a little defensive. He also pointed out that I am super jumpy and even the lightest of noises make me do a little freak out. I sniff every cup before I use it. Don't know why. Burrowing in my sleep as well. I have to have my head covered for me to be comfortable. Didn't think it was weird until a college roommate pointed out that he always could tell when I was going to sleep because I just put my pillow or my covers over my head beforehand. I've had people come into my room when I'm asleep and thought nobody was there, so I guess it's a nice defense mechanism against predators. Interesting. I wonder if your cup sniffing is the advanced version of an animal checking to make sure a drinking source is clean before drinking from it. It comes from drinking from moldy, sour, milky cups as a child. Sometimes I like to hold my balls in my hand and think. Thinking with your balls and your brain, that's pretty smart. 2 heads is better than 1. I shit nude. Also rarely use public toilets. My ex-boyfriend could only shit nude. Literally the only way he could shit. I feel vulnerable and scared if I try to shit nude, lol. Humans are the only mammals that defecate with clothes on. I can respect the nude freedom. Yeah, all the other mammals take their clothes off to shit. When I was 12, I used to suck in and bite the insides of my cheeks. A teacher at school saw it and copied me as a joke. I saw how stupid it looked and never did it since. I did that too. Still do. Don't think I'll ever end up stopping. If I bump an object into a wall or a table, etc., I say ouch for that object. Not sure when I began doing it, and obviously I know my toothbrush didn't feel pain when I hit the faucet with its head, but I can't stop myself from saying ouch on the toothbrush's behalf. I apologize to my car whenever it takes a nasty bump, like a pothole or whatever. I pat the center of the steering wheel like, "Oh baby, I'm sorry," and then rub the dashboard soothingly to make sure it knows I didn't mean to. It's doing a good job, and that everything is okay. My voice. When I was working in research, a few of us happened to be chatting with a speech pathologist. Someone suggested that he analyze our speech. When he got me, he kept asking if I was sick or had allergies that day. Turns out my voice is naturally hyponasal. It sounds like my nose is stuffy all the time. I don't mind it, it's just my voice. But I didn't know anything was unusual about it until that moment. Don't you hate that disconnect? You think your voice is deep and sexy. Then you hear recordings and you're just like, I'm a nerd with a speech impediment. F***K. There's also an effect where some people are revulsed by the sound of their recorded voice. I hate hearing my recorded voice. But apparently lots of people think my voice is great. My manager picked me to record the IVR. For X press 1, for Y press 2, etc. for our department, and I get multiple comments a week how I have a great voice. But I absolutely hate how it sounds in recordings. In a group conversation, I sometimes stay silent for literally 30 minutes and start talking again. Like nothing. Realized with quarantine, where I suddenly talk and people get surprised I was still in the voice chat after 30 minutes of not even a word. I have a problem where I just can't interrupt people talking, and also, when they interrupt me, I just instantly stop talking. This can be nice because I don't come across as rude even though I like to talk a lot. But in group conversations, I'm basically always silent because there is always someone talking. Obviously, I need to be distracted while eating. If I don't look at my phone or PC screen, even when really hungry, I will be unable to finish even a small amount of food I have on my plate, because I will feel full and then get hungry again after 5 minutes. While distracted, I eat slowly, in my own pace, and then don't get hungry again for hours. I noticed it at my aunt's place once when Dad told me to stop looking at my phone while having dinner. In the end, I ate half of a chicken breast and felt sick. The same way you feel after overeating. That's actually very interesting. Perhaps someone already researched this? I once read that when you watch TV or a video, your brain gets distracted and doesn't send the "I'm full, I don't need to eat more" signal. In that way, you keep eating until you recover. They censor eat too much that your brain says, "I can't literally eat anything more." I eat too fast. I can finish the same amount of food my wife eats in half the time it takes her. Others have pointed this out too. I don't think it's weird, but it helped me finish my food quicker while in basic training. Me too. Was never in basic training, but I always finished my food faster than my family and friends. And when I try to be mindful of eating slowly, I still eat fast. I sneak up and scare people. Unintentionally. I've been given the nickname Ninja Nate because I move in and out of rooms without being detected. I close doors quietly. I don't hum, whistle, single, or generally talk when I walk through the house. And I walk so silently that no one can hear my footsteps. This has led to repeatedly scaring people who don't hear me coming, especially when they suddenly turn around or I ask them a question with their back turned to me. I try to get into people's line of sight before approaching them, but inevitably, I will give someone a fright because they didn't see or hear me approaching. Sorry to all my friends and roommates that I've surprised over the years. It's something I've picked during my childhood to avoid being seen or heard because I don't want verbally abusive parent to shout at me for doing something wrong, like waking up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water. Ninja Nate is one cool of a nickname. Asking permission to go to the toilet. If I'm in someone's house that I'm not used to being in, I'll ask, "Can I use your bathroom?" or something like that. One day, someone decided it would be funny to say no, and that's when my mates found out that I won't go if they say no. I'll just sit back down. To change this behavior, I started saying, "Where is your bathroom?" so it's not a yes or no question. I know, but that's the thing. It's like I have to have permission. It's just something that makes me jittery. It's like you're a bathroom vampire and you need to be invited into it. I always ask, "May I use your restroom?" Quote, "It was just how I was raised." I did have a friend say no once. So I walked over to a corner of the room and unzipped. He quickly yelled, "Yes, you can." It was a running joke for a bit. Lol. One of my favorite snacks growing up was cold canned green beans. My mom would just open the can and hand me a fork. I continued eating them like that until my sophomore year of university, when my roommates just stared at me and pointed out how strange it was. I just thought that was the only way to eat green beans. Someone will say something to me like at the end of a worksheet and I won't respond until the next time I see them, and then they've forgotten about the comment they said just because it took me a few hours to process what they meant. For example, coworker and I were talking about the gym and I said, "Yeah, you're just as thin," and she replied, "No, I'm round," and it took me the next day to tell her she wasn't round. SMH. I can shimmy my glasses from the tip of my nose to the bridge using only face muscles. Everyone thought I had a weird twitch. I like to think I'm just efficient. I pick at my lips when I'm stressed out. I've done it since I was a kid, so my mom always gets mad when she catches me doing it. Lol. I try to use chapstick to break the habit, but I always end up doing it without even realizing. Like if I'm watching a suspenseful movie or texting someone about something urgent, anxiety-inducing. I used to do a similar thing, where I put my finger on one part of my hair and turned the hair around repeatedly, making it twist and curl. My mom freaked out one day when hair seemed to thin out in those parts of my head, giving me a Maleficent-style widow's peak. I don't even need someone to mention it to know it's weird. I talk to myself, but like a conversation with myself. More like a conversation with an imaginary audience. Edit. Asterisk, not like a conversation with myself. It is not that weird. In fact, a lot of people do this, myself included. Explaining stuff to people. It helps me fully understanding it. I have REAAALLLY bad memory. I pick up something and set it down for 1 second to do something else quick and never remember my original goal. I have to make countless notes, alarms, and Google Calendar events and reminders just to survive. Yet for some reason I have a habit of remembering exact times that only lasts for that day until I sleep and forget those too. Never even noticed or knew until my boyfriend went, "How did you sleep?" And I said, "God awful." I woke up at 5:14 a.m. to a stomachache and fell asleep at around 5:46. Woke up again at 8:04 because it was hot, and then woke up the last time at 11:27. It surprised me that he was surprised. Sometimes I do it subconsciously, but I definitely do it knowingly too. Suspicious things might happen in the night and I'm like, cool. So if cops show up tomorrow, I'll know that at 2:39 a.m. I heard a suspicious pop that could have been a gun, and make the effort to stamp that exact time in my brain for days. I really relate to what you said about memory problems. But for me, it's because of inattentive type ADHD. It presents differently in adults, and a lot of people don't realize they have it because it doesn't fit what people imagine ADHD is. So if it's impacting your life, it might be something to check out. Obviously not saying you have it, but just on the off chance, there's no harm in checking if it could improve your quality of life to have it treated. ADHD has a lot of symptoms that I wouldn't have guessed was part of it. When I found out I had ADHD and researched the symptoms of it, it made so much sense. PTSD can cause hypervigilance, which could be why a person's brain discards information that it deems useless and holds on to other information that the person deems useless. I have an incredibly weird ability for guessing the time of day really accurately without looking at a clock. Doesn't exactly benefit me and is a bit weird, and I'm 99% sure that this talent comes from hypervigilance due to PTSD. Not saying that you have PTSD, and if you are concerned that you may and feel that it affects your daily life, you could bring it up with a therapist. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.